As a migrant doctor, most people would be happily settled in their work as a GP and specialist with blend of some public and private work. But there are doctors in Australia who run a variety of very successful businesses. Now these are GPs, surgeons, physicians, and even junior doctor. Yes, doctors who have just got their full registration and now dabbling into world of entrepreneurship, and they've managed to replace their main income as doctors with their newfound businesses. But what can you do? Well, when I started out here in Australia, the advice given to me by my senior was to invest in properties, put additional money in superannuation. Whilst all of this is done by majority of doctors anyway, I'm going to talk about something new, something which is growing more in fashion. So I'm going to talk about top 10 businesses of doctors with some serious number. So let's start looking at them one by one. Number one, private GP medical practices. Majority of GP practices here in Australia are privately owned, where GPs either work as independent contractors or partners. Very rarely you'd see salaried GPs. Now, as of 2023, there are over 7,000 general practice clinics across Australia. The average annual income of GPs in private practices is approximately $200,000 to up to $350,000 per annum. The demand for private practices is expected to grow because of Australia's increasing aging population, which is projected to reach 30 million people by end of 2030. So that's just in 6 years time. Hence, lots of non-medical people are even keen to invest in opening up multiple GP practices, as considering this very safe form of investment. And I wouldn't agree more. It is actually quite a safe investment. Number two is specialist medical practices. Now, surgeons, orthopedic doctors, dermatologists, cardiologists, gastroenterologists, pediatrician, respiratory, psychiatrists, and even now emergency physicians all have holistic clinics which not only include their own consultancy services but also allied health services such as dietitian, physiotherapist along with an orthopedic surgeon, wound care specialist with surgeons, and stoma surgeons or stoma nurses for the upper GI and lower GI surgeons. Now, each of these private specialist services can potentially earn up to $2 to $3 million annually, with 4 to 5 partners taking equal shares in profit post expenses. Now, despite growth, it is impossible to get an appointment with cardiologists, surgeons, gastroenterologists, and pediatricians for up to 6 months, and to some popular ones, up to a year. That's right. Number three, health technology startups. With rapid advancement of technology, many doctors are venturing into health techs. Now, these startups are focusing on telemedicine, digital health records, and telemedicine heart rate monitoring and respiratory monitoring and health monitoring devices. In 2022, Australian health tech startups attracted over $550 million in venture capital funding. Now, these are the fundings that many of the investors just combine themselves and invest into a health tech and startup, and that was $500 million of funding, which is huge. There are also new service platforms that provide IT support to both GP and specialist practices and even hospital services. Now, notable startups, companies like Heidi Health for AI assisted medical transcription, Health Engine, HotDoc, and eScripts, which the patient can have delivered to their mobile phone and they can fill in the scripts from any pharmacy. This, in my opinion, is perhaps the most lucrative part of healthcare industry, which I am seeing rapid growth by innovation softwares being introduced every new year. Now, there is quite a bit of a licensing, and regulation authority, but people are able to come up with very innovative software in this sector. Number four, medical research development. Now, Australian government allocated $6.8 billion to medical research in 2023, supporting various research and development projects and initiatives. Now, even though it's not a business, but doctors with passion for research often engage in medical research and development for, new treatments, drugs, medical devices, and hence they are hired by major pharmaceuticals. This is perhaps the best utilized part of the R&D for major health companies like pharmaceuticals and health tech and medical devices. The investment by them in this sector is co-founded by government to help create a very niche service or very new product that can eventually generate huge profits for the company and more tax for the government. So win-win for both the parties. Number 5, health and wellness clinic. The wellness industry in Australia is valued at approximately $12 billion annually, and there is growth in trend towards more holistic health and wellness clinics that offer services like physiotherapy and chiropractor clinic, nutritional counseling, and alternative medicine. Services such as physiotherapy and chiropractor care and dietary consultation for weight loss are in huge demand. Now, number 6, medical tourism industry. Now, since there is thriving private hospital sector here in Australia, some of the leading surgeons and pioneers in their own area of specialty have patients seeking their treatments from every part of the world. The medical tourism market is expected to grow by annually 15% in the next 5 years. Now, it is estimated various forms of weight loss surgeries, cancer treatment, and complex neurosurgical procedure often cost international patients anything between $10,000 to up to $50,000 per patient. And this is a hugely growing sector with major investment in the private hospital. Number 7, medical education and training. From offering tutoring services for medical students and emergency focus for IMGs, every specialties like GP, surgery, medicine have been able to establish exams, courses, CPD activities, international conferences like SMAC and CODA, trauma resuscitation courses, which are not only offered locally but often fully booked out days for their international venues as well. It is estimated that educational courses and training programs can generate revenues ranging from anything between $1,000 to up to $10,000 per participant per annum, depending on obviously the size of the company and course complexity and duration. Number 8, private radiology. Now, this is big. Private radiology practices are essential in Australian healthcare system. In fact, radiology practices are just like GP practices. They are privately owned and they provide services not only directly to the patient but also to government hospitals. And they provide X-rays and MRIs and CT scans and ultrasound. The Australian radiology market is estimated to be worth about $4.5 billion as of 2023, with over 2,000 private radiology practices across Australia, with major players like iMed Radiology, Sonic Healthcare, and Capital Health. Radiologists in private practice can earn anything between $350,000 for part-time radiologists to up to $1 million annually for radiologists who are working full-time, depending on their specialization and volume of the services that they provide. Now, sector is projected to grow at a compounding annual growth rate of over 5% in the next 5 years. And it's also facilitated by the advancements in the imaging tech software is getting better, increasing high-speed internet, medical locums. The locum market in Australia is valued at approximately $1.2 billion, reflecting the role that these doctors provide in maintaining health delivery, mostly in the regional and rural places, but even in the major towns and the hospital. Now, for junior doctors who have freshly obtained full medical registration, and even GPs and specialists, Australia has one of the highest paid locum rates in the world. In peak season, emergency physicians can be paid up to $4,000 to $5,000 per shift, and GPs can also command locum rates of up to $3,500 to $4,000 per shift. Surgeons can also get amazing locum rates depending on their area of service and need. Now, medical locum services involve temporary placements of doctors, and as I said, they are not only in the rural and regional but also in urban towns. Now, junior doctors, sometimes they say, okay, fine, I'm not going to do any specialization. They can just potentially do locum for the rest of their lives, and depending on their skill and experience can earn anything in between $150,000 to up to $450,000 per annum. It includes lots of unsocial hours and lots of traveling, but sometimes they do contracts with their own hospitals which are regionally located and then just live nearby. I've seen plenty of doctors doing something like that. Number 10, telemedicine services. COVID has taught us a lot, and one of its biggest gifts is boom in telemedicine industry. Australian telemedicine market is projected to reach $4 billion by the end of next year. In 2023, over 80% of general practices in Australia offered some form of telehealth services. Recently, one of my friends told me that psychiatrists charge up to $700 to $800 per hour for a consultation. There's also an online emergency doctor service run by specialists called My Emergency Doctors, where specialists earn anything between $200 to $250 per hour. And the best part is you can do it from anywhere in the world. Overall, the average doctors offering telemedicine services can earn anything between $150,000 to $350,000 annually, with very flexible work to work from anywhere and any hours. And the best part is the Australian government has supported telemedicine through Medicare rebates for telehealth services, ensuring that the patients can access these services at discounted cost. Conclusion: there you have it. The landscape for medical business in Australia is diverse, and I think it's full of opportunities. I personally think we as doctors need to think about diversifying our practices. We are prone to burnout, stress, and even risk of malpractice, revoking our licenses to practice. So in this day and age, as digital nomads or building side businesses, it's something that every one of us should give it a proper thought. Whether doctors choose to establish a private practice or delve into health technology or offer consultancy services, the potential for growth and significant income in this sector is huge. So do consider it. Look after yourself and each other. Goodbye.